What is going on, everybody? Welcome to United vs. Everybody. I'm your host, Sean. We are back today, early this afternoon, earlier than typical. My day's been all over the place, but we are back with another Man United News Roundup. We might have another video later on tonight. It just depends on what I've got going on. If we do another video, it will be the young striker prospect video that I was talking about last night. If you guys didn't see last night's video, we took a look at strikers on the market that nobody's talking about, but who I think could really help United's chances in front of goal. Go check out that video if you haven't yet. But in that video, I promise to do another one on young strikers, teens, early 20s, who are kind of the next big thing, in my opinion. So keep a lookout for that one on the channel. We will be doing that again. But we're back. We got a lot to talk about today. We got goalkeeper stuff, Sancho stuff, Rashford stuff, all sorts of fun stuff to go over today. So I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your opinions as always. So make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check the memberships to learn how you can get more involved in the content we put out here on the channel, from scouting reports to suggestions for episodes of What If. It's all available to you. You even have an option to join in on the weekly kickabout too, for the Legends members can join in, have their say on a couple of the topics that we talk about when Dylan rocks up. So keep a lookout for that. Be sure to check the UVE store too. A brand new Brian Mbeumo shirt in there. You can get the OG green and gold if you want to, as well as I'm rocking today. If you scroll down a little bit below the video, you will see some samples of products in there. But let's get stuck in as always. Let me see what we're going. Oh, don't forget too, if you we're on the road to 3K. So if we get the 3K subs before we kick our first ball of the season as United, I will do a giveaway on the channel. But it's up to you guys. Make sure you're sharing, make sure you're liking, make sure you subscribe. If you're new, the lurkers, I see you. Get involved, get subscribing. You can get everybody closer to a giveaway, get your chances up there. But big up everybody who's in the chat today. Lucky, welcome back. Lucky Singh, big up. We're going to talk all sorts about that, man. Good to see you again. He's talking about midfielders. Connor Gallagher. Yeah, it's funny. Chelsea fans, for some reason, did not rate Conor Gallagher. I don't understand. He's a really good midfielder. And I think just from an attitude perspective, he has everything we want: fight, attitude, mentality. Whether he has it on the ball is another story altogether. But I think that Chelsea, obviously, I think kind of like Mason Mount, they definitely needed a bit of financial boost. But big up, Lucky. Good to see you again. Casper says, good evening, her. We might go for goalkeeper Sen Lamens. You've spoken about him. We have spoken about him, Casper. We've spoken about Sen Lamens all the time. We pretty much, since he was linked, we've done scouting reports. We've spoken about. We're going to talk a lot about him today as well. So anyone who's wanting to learn a little bit more, we're going to talk about that as well. Big up, Sanjay. Good to see you again. Good to see you live, my friend. So hopefully everyone's having a good day. Hopefully everyone's enjoying their Monday. Beautiful day here in Michigan on a Monday afternoon. So let's get stuck in. Let's just, to start off on a fun note, why don't we kick things off? Let me move this over real quick. With another reminder of just how real the English media bias against United is. Let's check out these two posts here from Sky Sports on some recent transfer activity in the Premier League. So Liverpool, this is both coming from the same source, by the way, Sky Sports. Literally, you can see this. Sky Sports posted. Liverpool are paying 69 million fee, an initial fee, according to Sky Sports. Liverpool have agreed an initial fee of 69 million pounds for Hugo Ekitike, and apparently that gets a big up from Sky Sports, right? But when you talk about Brian Mbeumo's move to Manchester United, and you notice they put breaking on there too, because when it's United after the breaking, everybody will click on it. No one cares about Liverpool. Manchester United have agreed to deal with Brentford to sign Brian Mbeumo in a deal worth 71 million pounds. So when it's United, again, we've talked about this many times on the channel. When it's United, the total fee, including add-ons, is usually the one that's posted. When it's Liverpool, though, 69 million, the initial fee. I saw another post from Sky calling the Ekitike bid from Liverpool, quote, remarkable stuff. Like, if that were United, they'd literally be talking about it on TalkSport, on ESPN, Robbie Savage. Everybody would be laying in United. Oh, they overpaid. I can't believe they did that. What a flop. The agenda is real. I've told you guys. I'm just shocked that for the Mbeumo one, they didn't actually give it to us in US dollars, because that would have just made it sound even worse. But absolutely shameless stuff from Sky Sports. And we're not surprised at any point, but thought I would definitely share that with you guys today, because nice to start things off on a funny note. Big news though, Embuemo is at Carrington this week. He's got some photos there, obviously with his family, with his it looks like his daughter at Carrington, getting some photos. The guy rocks up in the suit, looking nice, going sans tie. Ties are so 90s. No one cares about the ties anymore. But it's good to see Embuemo kind of getting involved, willing to take those photos and everything. And it's good to see him actually at Carrington. Who knows when we will get the announcement, but I'm sure it's coming at some point. Casper says it's English bias. It's anti-United bias, man. We ruined a lot of childhood when Fergie was here. It's just a bunch of abus. And Sky, I mean, read the room, Sky. We got that report a couple months back that you were going to be laying off a lot of people. And a big part of it, I think, is shit like this. Like, if they think fans can't see right through that bullshit, like, then they shouldn't be involved in the media, because if you can't read the room, if you can't have a little bit of self-awareness, and if you're just going to keep going for low-hanging fruit because it's the only thing that's going to give you any sort of relevance anymore, I guess you could call it a form of old media now, then it is what it is. Again, I'm not trying to say that I'm better than Sky. I'm just saying Sky is shit. Both things can be true. So, moving on to some news today. Marcus Rashford to Barcelona does look pretty much finalized, and this coming from Fabrizio Romano. Barcelona have sealed all the documents of Rashford deal. They will pay 14 million euros gross as salary coverage plus bonuses. He will take a 15% pay cut, and United will not cover his salary. So I like that we're not paying the salary. I think it's interesting that he's willing to take a pay cut to join Barcelona, but he wasn't really willing to take a cut or really work for his wages at his boyhood club, Manchester United. I thought that was really interesting. Again, it is what it is. I'm not going to make it personal. Again, people's actions will say way more than their words do. And so giving an unsanctioned interview and whatnot, things like that. And now this to me says a lot. So what are you going to do? He has been pictured, I guess, in Barcelona too. So this is a little bit of a screen grab. Looks like a airport or something in Spain. That's coming from, there's a longer video out there from Fabrizio Romano, if you guys have seen it. So that's coming from there as well. I saw too, there's like a 25 million, I think it's anywhere between like 25 to 30 million, this option, I think, that Barcelona have to at the end of the loan deal in a year. And that's if they take it. Now, I know reportedly, if they don't exercise it, then they have to pay a penalty similar to what we included in Jadon Sancho's loan to Chelsea. I think it's less than the Sancho one, if I remember correctly. Put this back on the screen for you guys. But still, I just want this story to be over with. I'm tired of the loan and option to buys. It's Antony, it's Sancho, it's Rashford, it's Malacia, it's everybody we're trying to get rid of. We can't get rid of. Nobody can afford them. Nobody wants to pay for them. Like, it's absolute ridiculous. I think that some clubs are probably trying to wait us out, maybe make us sweat until they see that we're really in a really tight sell to buy situation, and then they might try to lowball us. That's when Ineos are going to have to really show what they're about. Are we really going to stop being bent over, or are we just trying to get these players out and we just don't care anymore? It's interesting stuff, man. And this is all even assuming Barcelona can actually even register him from the from all the financial situation they're in too. They might not even be able to register him. Like, we thought our financial situation was a complete cluster bleep. Barcelona are like, hold my beer. We're better. Casper says, heard this great Barcelona Marcus Rashford on loan. We'll see, man. We'll see what happens. But what are your thoughts on Rashford and his Manchester United story? Did the club fail him? Was he too distracted by off-pitch projects? I know a lot of the stuff he's doing is for good purposes, but if it becomes a distraction, or if it is to the detriment of your on-pitch performances, your focus, your professionalism as a footballer, then the question is, doesn't matter how good of a purpose it was. I mean, it's not like he had dedicated his whole life to those projects. I mean, it doesn't mean that they're bad, but it didn't seem like he was dedicating his whole everything to anything. Maybe that was a problem too. Did he get burned out? You can't burn the candle at both ends for that long without eventually burning out. He did mention in that interview, like, he loves the life, but he also hates the life. He hates that, he can't go places, and it can't just be a simple go to the shops, go out in the town without, all the constant paparazzi and whatnot. I'm sure he loves the fans, but at the same time, like, this is why it would be difficult for me to be and not that I'm ever going to be anywhere close, but it would be difficult for me to ever be any sort of professional footballer, celebrity, anything like that, where people are going to recognize you when you're just trying to do normal things. I'm not saying I would hate. It would be so uncomfortably awkward for me to do that, because I'm super introverted. I do like just my peace and quiet. So I get it to an extent, but it's not like you woke up at 27 years old and just realized that was the life you chose. You've known this for a long time, and if you didn't, then your agent, your family, and even you were not quite prepared for it. Big up, Stephanie. Good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. Dharmesh, welcome. Liverpool put in a bid for Isak. See, Sky Sports just reported that they've had a £69 million fee agreed for Ekitike. I can't believe Liverpool are spending money like this. It's been absolutely crazy. They better hope they win, like, literally everything. They better finally do this quadruple they were popping off all that good shit about a couple of years back. Remember that nonsense? Quadruple, where they get Carabao Cup? Fuck off. Get out of here. Again, on Rashford, I mean, it's a shame, like I've said before, that this is how his Man United story is going to come to an end. You can't say he hasn't been a little bit of the architect of his own demise, though, in that regard. People, I mean, some of his decision making just not been ideal, and in the last couple seasons, I don't know what happened. It's a complete 180 from what we saw in the 22-23 season. I'm not saying he was world class ever, but comparatively, what we saw the last couple seasons from Ten Hag's first season was a bit of a joke. People are going to point, maybe just after that new contract, things started to go downhill. People will point to the incident in Belfast. People are going to point to the interview with Henry Winter as well. I think personally, for me, the first sign of Rashford really not making wise decisions, and maybe the shift in priorities and focus, was way back in 2020 when he postponed the surgery. Remember, he was supposed to have shoulder surgery, and he put that off so he could go to the Euros that summer, which ultimately meant he was going to miss the first couple months or so of this Premier League season that following year. That was 21-22. And if you look at his numbers in 21-22, they were absolute garbage. They were garbage. And so that's when I started to be like, what are you doing? Like, it's club before country every single, like, literally 7 days a week and twice on Sundays. Like, that's just not cool. And I think his decision making in general was always looked a little off to me, both on and off the pitch, Rashford. But we'll see what happens. Maybe Spain will be good for him, maybe some time away from United and just that change of scenery. I've said it many times. For some players, literally just a change of scenery is sometimes all it takes. Graham Bailey seems to think that he can bench Robert Lewandowski, and maybe even with that in mind could do the same for Harry Kane when it comes to England duty. I don't know what Graham Bailey's been smoking, but I want some, because that was one of the worst takes I've seen in a while, man. Gasper, what do you guys say on our Rashford? Let me know your thoughts. Did we fail him? Did he fail himself? Was he too distracted? Did he get burnt out? Was he just chasing the bag? You guys let me know. Casper says, I'm glad he might be heading out the door. His time's up at United, but no hating. Yeah, we don't hate. We can definitely comment on what we see behavior-wise. Obviously, we'll never know what's going on in his head. We just don't know that stuff. And we're really not really, trying to figure that out you're just wasting time. But we, as fans, all we can do is judge him by what we see on the pitch, from dedication, output, effort. I'm not even talking about numbers. I could care less about numbers. I don't care if he doesn't score anything. As long as you try, that's all we care about. And it just didn't really seem like his priority was United. It didn't seem like his heart was in it anymore. Gamer says, Sancho has been heavily rumored to be closing on a move to Juventus. Yeah, we're going to talk about that today. Welcome back, Gamer. We got all sorts of stuff to chat about. Big up. Stephanie says, Rashford changed when he got his new deal from United. He couldn't handle the pressure, thought he was untouchable. And I think we sort of maybe failed him in a little bit as well, because in a way that we kind of made him untouchable. We maybe have failed him by giving him so much, by not, giving him more of a challenge in terms of squad rotation, by guaranteeing him a left-sided spot and forcing Sancho on the right, maybe instead of letting them kind of duke it out a little bit. Maybe we failed him by pushing him a little bit too high up on a pedestal. Who knows? Sometimes that can happen too. It's interesting stuff though. So Lucky says, wanting to come to Barcelona, best club world. Big up. Elvis says, what's the update of Benjamin Sesko? We're going to talk a little bit about Sesko too. We're just wrapping up on some Rashford stuff. I do want you guys' thoughts on it. But welcome to the channel, Elvis. Thank you very much. Casper says, Isak is a replacement for Jota at Liverpool in the nicest possible way, but he needed an extra striker. Liverpool are going to keep saying they need a 6. They're going to sit there on one breath and say Darwin Nunez is an excellent striker. He runs around a lot, but on the other end, they're like, oh, we need a striker. We need a striker. Like, you can't have it both ways, you guys. Come on. I mean, it is Liverpool fans, though, so you kind of know what you're getting with Liverpool fans, but what it is. Gamer TV. Yeah, we've seen so many of these rumors pop up around Højlund throughout the summer. Napoli, Inter. We talked a little bit about AC Milan the other day. Like, it's all keeps popping up and nothing ever seems to happen. So, although apparently Atalanta did just sell Matteo Retegui to Al Qataria in the Saudi League, which literally between prepping my video from yesterday on strikers and streaming the video, that had apparently been finalized between like that little bit of time. So it's amazing how quickly things can change like that. So maybe you can go back to Atlanta. I don't know, man. Would be nice. Gamer says, do you think if Højlund leaves, we can bring in 2 strikers, seeing that Rashford, Anthony, Sancho leaving because it might be up front? I mean, Xerxes is probably going to have to play in that striker role, honestly. We have a lot of people fighting for those 10 spots. Mount's still here as well. Don't forget about that. And this is assuming that we actually sell everybody that we're trying to sell. We could very well not sell all 5 of these players that we're moving out. So Cheeto, I don't think is ready quite yet. Still looks very, very raw. Højlund to me, it doesn't, I don't know what's going on with Højlund. We've seen the same kind of rumors all the time, a lot of Serie A clubs, but I don't know how much stock I put into it. And then a lot of people are like, there's a chance he could leave. Like, there's always a chance, but we'd have to get a certain amount. Otherwise, it just is hurting us more than it's helping us, because we're just killing ourselves financially if we don't get a minimum of like 40, 45 million for him. It just hurts us. And that just doesn't make sense. So Elvis says United should buy other wingers. Well, we were linked with quite a few young right wing backs. With Mbeumo, with Cunha, we got Dorgu, Leon, Amas looks like he's going on loan, Ahmad, Mazraoui, Dallo. We actually have a lot of cover in those positions. It's those 10s that maybe we could start looking at some young number 10s throughout Europe. I know we've talked a little bit about options over the last couple months. Some of those players like Mora, Keys Smith was another one at Akmar that we scouted earlier last week as well, that we were linked with too. Nipan obviously was one I really wanted. He's at City now, but players like that to come in and kind of rotate a little bit would not go amiss in my opinion, but it's not my money, not my call, but big up. So you guys let me know what you think about Rashford's situation. What was the biggest contributor you think to why it didn't work out from him at United? So keep getting your thoughts in as you go. Make sure you're hitting that like button and subscribing too, you guys. We're on the road to 3K. If we do get to 3K subs before the season starts, we will do a giveaway. Brand new 25-26 shirt of your choosing. Whoever wins that giveaway, I will send it straight to you. I'm just looking to see if there's any other news. Not really any news popping up. So we'll move on to the next little bit of news in my little notes here. So on Sancho. So Sancho, you're getting all sorts of different reports from different outlets regarding Jadon Sancho. Besiktas were linked, Fenerbahce were linked. We saw other clubs, I forget who, but Juventus have been the one that have been the most heavily linked in the last couple of weeks. According to Duncan Castles, this move could be rounding the final turn. This is what Duncan Castles had to say. Oops, wrong one. So apparently, according to Duncan Castles, Jadon Sancho was close to joining Juventus for a fee worth 20 million euros, plus some easily achievable bonuses. Juventus will cover some of the payoff to Sancho on his remaining Manchester United salary. And then someone pointed out that maybe the Sancho stuff is not quite, but everyone most of what I'm seeing is that Sancho is close to going to Juve, which honestly, I don't really know what Juve are thinking. I don't know if it's arrogance or naivete or whatever you think when it comes to managers or club owners or presidents or directors of football, whoever, when they look at a player like Sancho, who's had so many issues off the pitch, so many clashes, so many just like not my fault, everyone else is the problem kind of moments. And for some reason, I don't know if they just ignore it, if they don't do the research, or for some reason it's arrogance and they think I'm going to be the one. Like he'll be different here. It's so weird. It's like someone who knows that this person that they're interested in has cheated on multiple people that they think, oh, they won't cheat on me. Like I'll be the one. I'll change him. Like nope, you lever don't change his spots, according to the great Roy Keane. So I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, we just, as long as it's a permanent thing and we just get him off the books and we're not, I mean, we're probably going to have to pay some of his salary. I mean, we've been saying that for a while now, but he just needs to go. Like, I'm just done with it. Probably one of the biggest flops in United history, more so than Antony. At least Antony actually gave a shit. It's not his fault that he just isn't good, but Sancho just, from day one, it was, oh man, I'm not as good as I thought I was, but it's not my fault. It's everyone else's fault. Like it's just been that at not only United, but he did the same thing at Dortmund. He'll do the same thing at Juve. Chelsea fans were popping all that good shit when they signed him, and then everybody retreated back into the woodwork when they saw like, oh no, wait, no, he's just not that good. He has a couple moments here and there, but that's it. I mean, his best thing in the United shirt was literally turning Virgil van Dijk into a meme the first season he was here. If you guys remember that early August match from a couple years back. That's it. That's pretty much it, though. What are you guys saying in here? Casper says, heard something about Arsenal could be pulling out Victor Gyökeres. Do you see a situation you might be able to get him? Thought that you would still take. I mean, I think you're mad if you wouldn't take Victor Gyökeres at United. Honestly, I really do think you're mad if you don't. We're going to talk about strikers in a second here, though, because I do have another poll. Actually, I have a poll going for you guys right now when it comes to United's funds and our priorities. I asked you guys, what would you allocate more funds for, a striker or a center midfielder? So far, striker is winning with 85% of the vote. So make sure you get your vote in. Let me know what you would spend more money on. If you had like 100 mil and you had the chance to spend like 75 mil on one player, like 25 mil on another player, which one would you spend 75 million on? Which one would you spend 25 mil on? Let me know in the chat as I keep going. Elvis says Dumfries is available for sale. I think he could fix our system. I think Dumfries is a good player. I liked him a lot at Eindhoven. You guys know that I watch a lot of Eredivisie. He's a very good player. He's a good leader. I like him. I think he was a good buy for Inter Milan. I wouldn't say no to him at United, but would you rather have him than Ahmad? I mean, I think he's better than Dalot, but then you get to a point with his age. How old is Dumfries? Like 28, 29 now? And then it comes to the whole Watkins situation. How much do you want to spend on a player that you're never going to get your money back from, like ever? That's just not. And is that player like a Robin Van Persie signing where that player is the difference maker? We could afford to do that with Van Persie because the squad was good enough. Fergie was just the GOAT. That is what it is. Van Persie literally won us the league that season. Is Watkins the same kind of player? Is Dumfries the same kind of player? I don't think so. Plus, I just don't think it's wise. Like, and Sir Jim famously has criticized this Casemiro deal to spend a lot on a player of that age. And it's a big risk for everyone out there who wants to wave the Premier League proven flag. It's a lot to spend on an older player who's never played in a physical league like the Premier League. And so everyone who's willing to say Premier League proven is the main kind of factor they're looking for in one breath, that is going against him as well. So again, a player can be a good player and maybe it's just not the right decision at the time. But that's just my opinion, really. I'm, again, never said he's a bad player. I like Denzel Dumfries a lot. I've liked him for a while, but I just don't know if it would be the right decision for us at this moment. But good question. Always like hearing what people think about different players. So Casper just wants this Jadon Sancho saga to be over. Buzzing when we sign him. I'm over it now. Juventus, perfect fit. Just need to get Jadon Sancho off the books now. Yep, I'm right there with you. Just get him out of here. Get him gone. Speaking of wingers, I saw something, I think, from Ducker as well, that clubs who are looking at Alejandro Garnacho apparently for some reason got it in their head that he could be available for as little as 40 million. Is that something that I saw? Keep dreaming. We're not. If Bino Gittins is going from Dortmund to Chelsea for 55 million, like that's the minimum we start with for Garnacho. Like we have to, like, this is where I'm like, let's put our foot down. He's cheap. It's not like he's on 300K a week or even 200K a week like Anthony. He's literally on 50K a week. He's young age. He just came off a good season. Puskás winner. Like, you've got to start that conversation. If you want to even get into the building to have with any sort of chance of getting in line to sit down at the table, you start the bidding at like 50 million and we'll talk. That's it. That just gets you in the door. If you want to get in the line, 55. If you want to get anywhere near the table, 60 with add-ons included, and then we can have a chat about that. But I saw there's some Aston Villa links with Garnacho this week. They're struggling with PSR. They're never going to be able to afford that unless they sell a player, and I just don't see that happening. They can definitely afford him on a weekly basis, but they can't afford the fee right now. They just can't. They were doing so many loans. We know they just paid a fine recently. I don't want to do a loan to buy option because apparently the obligations are not worth the paper they're printed on anymore. It's just not worth it to be in this same situation in another year. Like, I'm tired of that. I like clean breaks, get it done. We need money now too. We're also in a PSR situation. So none of this will count on that money in a year. Like now, 55 million up to make 62 or 64 with add-ons. That gets you Alejandro Garnacho. If you want to stay in England, we know how much money is floating around in the Premier League. Don't try to come over here with hat in hand and think that you're going to get some sort of bargain just because it's Man United. I don't care. I really don't. It's not my problem. Elvis wants to know the update of the goalkeeping situation. We're getting there. We can't open the book of the stream and jump right to the middle. We got to ease into it. We're kind of laying the scene for you. All right. This is storytelling. I'm a storyteller. We're getting there. Like he says, they selling Morgan Rogers to Chelsea. Are they really? Or is that just a rumor that you saw? Because if they sell Morgan Rogers to Chelsea, I don't know where Chelsea are getting that money from. I guarantee you it's going to be some sort of shady under the table kind of deal if Chelsea are involved, man, for real. RSV, welcome back. Hope you're doing well. Ten Hag is a fraud after all. His team lost to Flamengo under 20s. I mean, it's preseason, and it's literally his first match at the club. So anybody who's like taking a little too much from preseason, I don't put much. I mean, even our draw against Leeds, I really don't care. It's preseason. As long as nobody gets injured and some youngsters get some minutes and an opportunity to show what they're about, that's all I really care about for preseason. It's really about money. It's about getting overseas fans the chance to see United. It is what it is. It's a friendly. It's training exercise basically. But But yeah, let me know what your thoughts on Garnacho are, because we can move on to goalkeeping situation now, Elvis. So this is the big bit of news that's coming out, and it's not breaking because we've been linked to Sen Lamens not only for the last couple of weeks. Remember, we were linked to him earlier in the season, and it was back then that we did a pretty in-depth scouting report on him. We've been talking about him since. One of the best keepers in Europe right now, even just from a numbers standpoint. Good age, but Romano says, understand United have made initial contact to be informed on deal conditions for 23-year-old goalkeeper Sen Lamens. He does play for Royal Antwerp. He's one of the main names on our list. If we're looking for a new goalkeeper this summer, Emi Martinez is also an option, but more expensive. Please no to Emi Martinez. This is the last time I'm going to say it on this channel. You guys know I don't rate Emi Martinez at all. But Sen Lamens, your thoughts? I'm sure by now, after all these links popped up and everyone who doesn't watch Belgian football is like, who the heck is this guy? Everyone's probably looked at highlights. Everyone's probably gone and watched videos and compilations and everything on YouTube. Like, you can watch Belgian football if you have ESPN Plus, by the way. That's how I watch it. That's why I know a lot about He Who Shall Not Be Named at Club Brugge, because I watch Belgian football. But for those of you who are watching all these highlights and whatnot, what do you think of Sen Lamens? Have we been overhyping him on this channel because we've been talking about him for months? Or is he the real deal? Do you think he has potential to be an excellent keeper? Diogo Costa was the same age, and when we were linked to him on ahead of the 23-24 season, if you remember, he was the same age. And if you remember, the reported price tag for Diogo Costa back then was absolutely insane, like insane. So with that in mind, this is how Sen Lamens compares to that version of Diogo Costa. Again, the 22-23 season numbers, because they're both the same age. So if you look at Sen Lamens, who is the blue, and look at Diogo Costa for that 22-23 season, you can see Sen Lamens is literally just a good goalkeeper. Save percentage above, post shot expected goal minus the goals allowed. So basically, What that means is it's basically just your shot stopping ability when you're facing shots that have a high XG. So it's saying that shots that come at you as a goalkeeper that have a high XG, how many of those of you're allowing. So a high number means you're better at stopping shots. And then look at the crosses stop. The guy is a physical monster in that box. He commands his area, good reflexes, and then he saves a lot of pens as well. Like that's how he compares to the 22-23 version of Diogo Costa, the one that we were linked with, the one that had a crazy fee. And Lamens is literally available for like 10 to 15 million. That's literally like a 5 million first installment for the first over the first 3 years. Like that's an absolute snip. That's literally the Alvaro sell-on. We can just throw at Antwerp and they'd be like salivating over that. It's absolutely insane. So that's how you compare those two. He's literally like, again, Sen Lamens, he's 23, top 1% for shot stopping ability. Again, with that post-shot expected goal minus goals allowed. The high number means you're saving shots that are actually have a high XG coming from the opposition. That means you're a better keeper. Top 3% for save percentage. He had an 81.3% save percentage last season, which is impeccable. Top 9 for penalty saves. He saved literally 2/3 of the pens he faced, 66.7%. And then my personal favorite stat, literally top 1%, 99th percentile for crosses stopped. He is claiming those crosses. He's coming off his line. He's not afraid to get in the mixer. He's not afraid to throw his weight around. He's not afraid to take out whoever is in front of him. He's literally like my dog in the yard when he's on a full-on run. He doesn't really care who's in front of him. He's just, you're either going to get out of his way or he's going to run into you. And it is what it is. Command that box, my guy. Like this guy's an absolute monster. I'm almost getting to the point now where I don't even care if Onana is still here. For 10 to 15 million, literally a 5 or 6 million upfront installment, go get Sen Lamens and then just figure it out later on. You can figure out the goalkeeping situation throughout the season. You can go full Arteta and just have 2 goalkeepers. At this point, it's just more about getting him in and having him and making sure no one else gets him because City are going to be sniffing around for a new goalkeeper sometime soon. Ederson looks like he's on his way out. Chelsea never seem to decide. Arteta never seems to decide on a goalkeeper either. You want to get someone like this before other people do. He's at a good age, and just let him duke it out. I don't even, like sell Onana. I don't really care at that point. But if Onana's still here, still get him. Like that's how good he is. Cap says, I don't think Garnacho will go to Aston Villa, but he keeps getting mentioned. Yeah, Villa don't have a lot of players, Casper, but the problem is they also don't have a lot of money. Remember, they seem like they had a lot of players, but a lot of them were loans. So they're going to have to sell, and unfortunately, they're going to have to sell players that they don't want to sell. So big up, Debasi. Good to see you again. Got tripped up by Yap. Big up. If you got tripped by Yap, I'm surprised you're not in the emergency room. Rob, welcome back, Rob, the newest Academy member. He joined a couple days ago. Big up, Rob. Good to see you again. Debasa, Sene flipping Costa. Yes, if you just joined in, if you can see on the screen, we are comparing Sene Lamens now to Diogo Costa from 22-23 when he was the same age and he was being quoted going for like 60, 70 million. And you can see Sene Lamens is edging way out ahead of him in many different percentiles and many different metrics. So Kev says, I buy Lamens and make him first choice. Yeah, I would too, but we have to get, if we're going to sell Onana, we have to get a certain amount, or otherwise it just doesn't make sense from a PSR standpoint. It also doesn't make sense to have another keeper and have Onana on the bench either from a financial standpoint, because you're literally just throwing money away. So we need to figure it out, man. Debasa says, can your dog BRC? So when he gets on a run, he just runs, but he's such a baby that he's gonna hide. He's gonna, like, if he comes up against a 1v1 and someone looks a little bit aggressive, my dog is just gonna go find his mom and hide. Like he's just the biggest baby in the world. But big up to Bassi. He probably do a better job than a lot of players out there right now. I don't know. We have a lot of midfielders. Some of them just don't have the legs. Some of them are young. Some of them are fighting injuries a lot. So, and Ugarte, I like Ugarte. I don't know what's going on with Ugarte though. The last couple matches are freaking going crazy. But again, 10 to 15 million gets you Sen Lamens. He's arguably had one of the best keepers in Europe right now. If you look at the numbers from last year, whether or not that's a spike, like a Andrea Bellotti season, or if it's an upward trajectory, like I think that the money, it's worth it just to get him and just figure out what you have. At most, if he gets here and he doesn't work out, you're not losing a lot. So It is what it is. Elvis says, but the question is, can we get a buyer for Onana? I think the only options you have for Onana now are if a Saudi club comes in for him or another club just makes a big offer. The problem is we spent a lot on him when we got him, like more than 50 million or so. So it's just impossible to make it worth our while unless we get a certain amount. And it's the problem. Again, the people who made these important decisions for United were the worst people imaginable, which is why we're in this sell to buy PSR nonsense situation. Why we have to be in a sell to buy year in, year out, why we can't get rid of players, why they walk away for free, why they're stuck on wages and nobody wants to buy them. Like, this is why. Whoever gave Anthony 200K a week and whoever signed him for 80 something million they should have been fired on the spot. Literally. Like, he was good at Ajax. He was excellent at Ajax. He's still not worth that. Maybe at the most 40, 45, and maybe like 75K a week tops. That was it. He was on 20K a week at Ajax. There was no reason to like literally multiply that by a factor of 10. That was ridiculous. But the only clubs I've seen interested are that Saudi league. I forget, like the NOMME or some junk. That's the only club I've seen that's remotely interested. I was hoping maybe Ten Hag would come back for some of his former players, but I think that's just a pipe dream. Yeah, that's the update on the goalkeeping situation. You guys know I'm a big fan of Sen Lamens. I think he's an excellent keeper, as the numbers show you. Literally top percentiles for all the metrics that matter. I don't tend to worry too much about touches, because that just means the keeper just has time on the ball, which in their system, like, that's what we're going to have. But if you watch some of his highlights, the guy's distribution is among the best I've seen in goalkeepers. Like, way better than Onana, which is not hard to do. Better than De Gea. De Gea's distribution was never his best attribute. But Sonny Lamens, he can throw the ball like 40, 50 yards, no problem. Literally up to midfield. He can kick it and put it on a dime or a sixpence if you're from the UK. He's very good. So again, it's up to you guys, though. I'm sure by now you guys have been watching highlights and stuff. So you guys let me know. Rob says he'd be a steal. It would be like a dumb decision not to do that. Same with Sphere Nippon. I was surprised we didn't go for Nippon just for the cheap cost and then just figured out later. I've said the same thing about Lennon Miller, super cheap. I say the same thing about Hayden Hackney, because you could definitely throw like a Collier at Middlesbrough and some cash and get Hackney for like maybe 12, 15 million with that, maybe a little more. I think these things are just stupid not to do. Lennon Miller personally would be an excellent pickup, but not my money, not my club. So Dubai says that Baldy is smart, did not go for Onana, total sack experience. Yeah, it's clear what Ten Hag wanted. He wanted, the way Ten Hag wanted to build out from the back, he needed a keeper who was comfortable with the ball at his feet. And despite all of his other flaws, Onana is comfortable with the ball at his feet. I mean, we've seen him Cruyff turn opposition attackers in his own box just fine. The problem is that he's so bad at everything else. He's not very confident. He doesn't come off his line. His shot stopping is suspect at best. His long range distribution is garbage. He's just not good. And some of the goals we've conceded last year because of him and him alone were just inexcusable. Like that, I can't get the Morgan Gibbs White goal out of my head. The way Onana just sat there as that ball kind of came in from literally about 30, 35 yards out. That's unforgivable. Like, I've never seen anything like that in my life. So done with Onana. You guys know that for a while, but let's move on from Onana. Let's talk about strikers. Let me get this off the screen for a second. Let's talk about strikers for a second, because what do you guys think of this fee being floated for Benjamin Sesko? I've read today 60 to 70 million pounds, not euros. I know the euros is like 70, 80 million euros. It's 60 to 7 million pounds. That's the release clause being reported right now. I would not spend 70 million for Benjamin Sesko. At the most, if I thought he was better than some people think he is, for apparently, the most I would spend for him would be like 45 million. Maybe up to 50 with add-ons. That would be the most I would spend on Benjamin Sesko. Now, I put in the chat, the poll, what would you guys spend more of your money on this summer? Striker or center midfielder? 88% of you still say spend big on the striker. I just don't know how many strikers out there are worth that. There were two that were worth that money, like 75 million going into the summer, and that were Gyökeres and Osimhen. Nobody else is worth that. Now, we did that video last night. Go check it out when we're done here. Top strikers around all over the place who are literally good aids. They're leading their lines and they have really good numbers and they wouldn't cost a lot. Go check. We went through like 10 or 11 of them. Some of these guys no one's even talked about. Some of them people never even heard of. Maybe that's a good little indicator that, they could be gotten for a steal. But I would not spend $70 million on Benjamin Sesko. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. 13 league goals last season, 5 assists. 13 league goals is not £70 million worth of striker. He had 21 goals and 6 assists in all competitions, but that's still not 70. That's not 70 million worth of a striker. 14 league goals the year before, 16 the year before at RB Salzburg, but it's RB Salzburg, no offense, but it's the Austrian league. It's easy. I mean, look what other people have done in those leagues too. He doesn't do enough for me to make it worth 70. When I'm thinking right now in this market, 70 million, when you're getting Gyökeres for less than that, when you're getting Osimhen for less than that, or like around the same amount, that's the level I'm looking at. That's the bar right now. And there's not many strikers it's not Sesko's fault. There's literally no other strikers on that same bar right now as Gyökeres and Osimhen as we head into the summer. That list was a 2-man list going into the summer. It was the 2 victors. That was it. Everyone else is either, I would hesitate to put people tier 2 because I still wouldn't put Sesko as like a tier 2 personally, but it's not up to me. If you're looking at tier 2, you're looking at guys who have proven track records over the last 4 seasons. Like, to me, that's Jonathan David, that's Evangelis Pavlidis, Santi Jimenez. These kind of guys, I think, are better than Sesko personally, but that's just my opinion. Sesko is still young, so, I mean, there's a possibility that he improves maybe in the right system, at the right club, at the right time, under the right manager. Yes, it's a lot of planets that need to align, but I've also seen a lot of Bundesliga supporters claiming that he's actually, like, this is his level. He's plateaued. Like, this is the best he's ever going to be. They don't see him getting any better. Still, I mean, if push comes to shove and we sign Benjamin Sesko, I'm still going to back him. If he plays for the badge and puts in his all, I'll back him. Like, it's fine. But you want everybody to get better. You want them to do good. You back your players and your manager. What are you guys saying here? Debasi is 60 million fair deal. Yeah, that's still pushing it for me, Debasi. 70 million pounds says lucky if you want him. Yeah, that's the price I'm seeing. I just don't think it's worth it. I'm not paying 70 million. He's not worth it. He's definitely not worth it. And before people were like, well, look at what Liverpool for Ekitike. Ekitike is not worth it either. Florian Wirtz was not worth what Liverpool paid. They're absolutely insane for paying what they paid for Florian Wirtz. That is ridiculous what they paid for Florian Wirtz. But I'm not a Liverpool fan. I'm not the one who's got to deal with it. So they better hope they get it right, though. So Debasi says, we were once looking at Cristiano, Suarez, Kane as total strikers. Now we have Gyökeres as best at nowhere near those numbers. Nowhere near those numbers. If you're not seeing Gyökeres' numbers last season, he had 54 goals in 52 matches. Like, that's insane. The guy is absolutely insane. And even then, comparing any player to people like Cristiano or anybody, we're just having this discussion with Justin on the phone before I did this. Too many people want to compare players to like these outlier, like absolute alien world-class players. Like, people, it just grinds my gears when we have this Emi Martinez discussion. And as soon as I mention Emi Martinez's age, he'll be 33 soon, everyone's first response is either Van de Sar or keepers can play until they're like, cool. Anybody can play till their mid-30s. The question is not whether they're physically able to play. It's whether or not they're good enough to start for Manchester United in goal. And literally, people can only name maybe 5 keepers who were actually good into their mid-30s, and that's it. And if you want to start naming Van de Sar, you've literally just opened up the sample size for the last 2 decades, which helps my argument, not yours. So we can't compare people to these one-off outlier absolute class players because everyone's going to look like a failure when you do that. Who was it? Was it Roy Rogers or somebody who said, official always think he's an idiot if you judge him by how well he can fly or climb a tree or something like that? Can't compare these guys to like Messi's, Ronaldo's, Kane's and stuff because it's just not a fair comparison. It just isn't. I mean, these players probably won't grow up comparing themselves to those players because that's the level they want to reach, but everyone's going to look like a failure when you compare. So I went on my little soapbox there for a second. Not a big deal. I'm not arguing, not trying to single you out, Debasi. It's hard to compare. And yes, Gyökeres is actually, he's one of the best strikers in the world right now, despite what people might want to argue about. Rajat, big up, man. He wants Sesko. Welcome back, Rajat. Good to see you. Rucky says, if you want him, pay him. I don't want to spend. I don't want him, and I don't want to spend 70 million pounds. It's what it is, man. But Sechko has potential. Everyone has potential. Hoyland had potential. Anthony had potential. A lot of players have the potential. Some of it is the player. Some of it is down to our scouting department and our analysis. Some of it is just the right club at the right time. Memphis, I think, came to us too early. Memphis should have gone to Lyon first, and then we should have got him from Lyon. I think that would have been better for his development. But getting him here, and the kind of player that Memphis was under the kind of managers that we had at that time was not a good fit. You're not going to let a flair winger like that thrive in a Louis Van Gaal, Jose Mourinho system. If we'd have got Memphis when Ollie was here, totally different story. A totally different story. But it is what it is. Timing is everything sometimes in football. And so it is what it is. Raja said how Liverpool have got fleeced. Yeah, they absolutely got fleeced. And Ten Hag's laughing all the way to the bank because he can go start a rebuild with that money. So Capture says Leipzig are probably 70 million for him, but as you said, Sean, I wouldn't pay 70 million. Yeah, I wouldn't. Plus, Leipzig aren't in Europe either, so they're not one. Beggars can't be choosers, and these players are probably going to want to leave without European football, whether that's Xavi Simons, Shesko. Remember, I listed Nicholas Seawald in my targets for players who weren't in Europe next season as a midfield target. Go check his numbers. He's an excellent midfielder at Leipzig as well. Roger says not more than 70 75 million pound is price tag on Shesko. I think too many people are looking at prices that other people are going for, and they think that that's like if someone like Hugo Ekitike, who's had literally one half decent season, is going for what reportedly he's going for. Like I wondered for a second if maybe we were getting away from that in football, but apparently it's just ridiculous. Like no one cares anymore. It's not worth it, man. It's just not worth it. Rajat says Phil Ragnick will probably rate and push on Shesko. What's Ragnick got to do with it? He ain't here anymore. It doesn't matter what Ragnick wants. Debasi says, to be honest, there are not many options left. Debasi, go and watch last night's video when you're done here, man, and you'll look at about 10 or 11 options throughout Europe that I think we've talked about. Rocadere, we've talked about Mo Amora, we talk about who else? Joe Perreault at Leeds. Tons of good strikers out there. Pavlidis again, Santi Jimenez again, someone I've mentioned many times. Go check him out. We talked about players from the Ukrainian league last night. Go check it out. Lucky says they've not played English football yet. Yeah, but not to me. You guys know I've never been like a Premier League proven kind of guy. Bruno Fernandes came here and pretty much destroyed that. And that's single-handedly why the English media hate him, because English media wanted to prop up the Premier League as being like the toughest competition. And then when you got guys like Bruno or De Bruyne who come in here and just destroy it, they can't handle it. It makes them feel bad. It hurts their precious little egos, and then they want to freak out. This is why the media hate him. So Hesty says, is it because Shesko has a sell-on clause from his former club that makes him so expensive? Sometimes that's a part of it. Sometimes that will make a club ask for more money because they know they're going to be losing a bunch of it. It is, and they're more entitled to it, but it's unrealistic though to put a 70 million demand on Shesko. It's just not worth it. Literally, it's like I said, maybe 45 million is the most I would spend for him, and that's if I had a gun to my head that I had to get him. I still wouldn't do it. I just don't rate him that much. Just like Pavlidis is out there, who's literally been scoring. He scored like literally 100 goals combined in the last 4 seasons. Pavlidis at Benfica. He just moved there a year ago from the Eredivisie. Excellent, but no one cares because he's Greek, and Greek isn't one of those appealing, like well-regarded nationalities when it comes to international football. And no offense, it's just the way that football fans seem to think. I've been talking about Pavlidis for a while, as you'll see. Is that working? Someone let me know in the chat if the sound is back up now. I think I had to switch to the camera for a second. Let me know. Someone let me know in the chat. Okay, is it good now? All right, awesome. Probably sounds a little different because we're using the camera now, but sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. The microphone just decided to stop working, so awesome. You guys know I'm not IT, but I'm glad it works now. It's awesome. Audio, great. Andreas, welcome back. Says if Bruno played in City or Real, he would be in the talks for Ballon d'Or with the number he's achieving every season. Yeah, with the amount of chances that Bruno creates, if he had some better players around him, if people were actually putting away those chances, he'd easily have doubled the assists for sure. So, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I've said that, so I don't understand why people don't rate Bruno. It's really weird. I got to scroll back down. Hold on. Good. Yes. Good. Awesome. We're back up and running. So, yeah, sorry about that if you guys didn't have sound there for a second. So, let's move on here because we got a little bit of an academy update. So, a couple of the academy players are going to be going out on loan, it looks like. So, we already talked about Dan Gore is on loan. He went out on loan again to Rotherham United. He was there last season. Sekou Kone was supposed to go out on loan, but we got reports yesterday that his loan has been postponed because apparently he's been impressive in training and the tour. So you guys know I really rate Sekou Kone. If you've been following the channel, we've done some academy watch-alongs and stuff. I really rate Sekou Kone a lot. So I like that we get a chance. The question is, if we're going to postpone the loan, is he going to get minutes? Because if he's not going to get minutes, I'd rather Kone go out to like Nice or something where he's a little bit tougher league. No offense to Lausanne, but I think that I'd like to see how he does in like the French league to start. I'm not saying French league is the most competitive, but it is a higher level than that league. So also, it looks like the reason Eli Harrison wasn't really part of the squad against Leeds is that he's going to be loaned out to Shrewsbury following in Dean Henderson's steps, another keeper that we didn't really seem to want to keep around. So Eli Harrison probably going on loan. We already lost Gracic. His contract ran out. We didn't exercise that option. Don't know what's going on with Vitek. It sounds like he might be on his way out. So again, leaves us with Bayendier, who knows what's going on that, an injured Onana, Tom Heaton, and maybe Lamens. To me, it looks like Bayendier's on the way out, and Lamens and Onana are going to come in. I just hope Lamens gets an actual, fair shot, not like these Donny Van de Beek minutes or something like. If we sign Lamens, let him play. I just think we just need to give him some minutes. Raja says, how come Ederson and Allison are great goalkeepers? They're not Prem. I mean, Ederson, I go back and forth on Ederson. I don't think Ederson's actually that good, honestly. He's committed so many errors since he joined City. I mean, that goal that ball he just gave away to McTominay right before lockdown. You remember McTominay scored that freaking screamer from like midfield. Like Ederson does that a lot. He's really only halfway decent with the ball at his feet. I don't think he's an excellent shot stopper. I don't think his reflex. He just has a good team around him. And I know that makes me sound like some sort of bitter rival. It's not. I just never really rated Ederson all that highly. Allison, I've got a little more time for, but Allison's got an error or two in him as well. He's committed some absolute howlers in the last couple of years. I think he led the Premier League, Allison, a few years back for errors leading to goal as well. So it's not like keepers, even good keepers, are infallible, but they are not without their faults too. So Capture says, Gore back to Rotherham, decent loan for him. Hope is not injury. Yeah, we've got a lot of youngsters that seem to pick up these injuries. Shea Lacey struggled. Dan Gore obviously struggled. If you guys remember Ethan Laird, I was really hyped about Ethan Laird, a young right back. I think he ended up going to like QPR. Couldn't tell you where he is now. I was really excited for him. I thought he could come in and take over in a couple of years. Just couldn't shake the injuries, which it's going to happen sometimes. Elvis says Julian Alvarez is one who understands the Premier League. Manchester United should go from. Yeah, you're gonna spend a lot of money if you want Julian Alvarez. I think he would suit us to a T. I really do. But City sold him for like what 80, 90 million. You're gonna spend a lot of money on Julian Alvarez. I don't think he wants to go anywhere anytime soon. But I like Alvarez. Ralph Ragnick actually recommended Alvarez, if you remember, a while back. When he was at River Plate, we just didn't get him. He also recommended Caicedo. Could have got both those guys for like 15 million, and look at him now. So it is what it is. What are you guys doing here? What's going on? You guys are talking some money out here in the thing. So Yeah, but Eli Harrison going on loan. Take a good look at your United jersey, Eli, because you probably won't ever wear one again because we just tend to avoid academy keepers like the plague at this club. So we just don't believe in them. Joel Pereira, Johnstone, Henderson, Kovar, Vitek, Gratzik, and now potentially Harrison. We just don't really, we just don't really do it. So, Cap says that's why Trafford. Oh, do you mean James Trafford, replacing Izzy? Interesting. Yeah, I don't. It's not my club, so I don't really care personally. They couldn't even be bothered. Like their website wasn't working. So when Justin and I were in January, we tried to get tickets to go to the women's Manchester Derby. It was at the Etihad, but the website wasn't working. And then when I tried to call them on the phone to get tickets, nobody answered the phone. So I was bummed because I think we won that Derby as well that night. And then Nathan Salt claims that Ethan Williams is working on a loan right now, so he's not going to be part of the tour. So a couple academy players going on a loan. We've got a couple academy players I think should be looking at loans. Guys like Deion Carey, Fletcher, these guys, I really think should be going on a loan. There's a good shout, good argument you made that maybe Cheeto, if we get another striker, maybe Cheeto could go out on loan, but it just is what it is. These youngsters need to get minutes when they get to a certain age or if they're of a certain quality. And if they're not going to get them here, they need to go and get them someplace else. So, Lucky says, Ragnick, best board member for me. Yeah, I remember I thought it was going to be great when Ten Hag came in and maybe Ragnick could go back to his sporting role when all the rumors were starting. But Ragnick ended up not sticking around. Ten Hag didn't want to work with him. So it is. Remember, people think that Ragnick got sacked just for talking what he said. No, Ten Hag didn't want to work with him. Was a big part of it as well. And then lastly, I got an idea. I saw this earlier. I have an idea maybe for how we can make some money and raise some funds and dig ourselves out of a PSR shaped hole. Thank you, Austrian side TV Hartberg, for the inspiration. So what do you guys think of this? Maybe we can put a few more sponsorships on the home shirt this season. It doesn't matter if I don't like the way the home shirt looks. If we just cover it with sponsors, we'll raise money. We don't have to look at it. We could look like the hood of a NASCAR. But this is Austrian side's TV Hartberg. This is their shirt for the upcoming season. They play in the Austrian Bundesliga. That's insane. Like, that's literally insane. It looks like the hood of a NASCAR threw up on someone's shirt. But it would raise some money. Maybe this new guy that we got from PSG could do a little bit. But that's insane. I can't believe that. So you guys are funny. The boss said he wanted to be a surgeon. Yeah, I'll never understand that. The Ragnick, you get fired. And he wasn't even meant to be the manager. He was meant to just come in to be a sporting director. Had to take over after Ollie got sacked. I don't know. Really, Ragnick's downfall was that he was given a little too much power to completely change the whole system and the whole formation mid-season. He should never have done that. They should have just stuck with someone else, or they should have just told him, stick with 4-2-3-1. We'll figure it out. And he just had to go and ruin it. And it just is what it is. But as far as sporting directors go, you're not going to find many better than Ralph Ragnick. And it really is a shame that he's not at this club anymore. But like Lucky says, would have made a difference. It could have, should have, would have. And then maybe we could have still had Vivell come in and kind of learn from him a little bit. And then maybe in a year or so, take the baton and Ralph Ragnick could go do other things. It could have worked out really well. But again, the club was run by absolute idiots back then. So Elvis says, we're so lucky to let Erik Ten Hag lead the team. Erik Ten Hag's, his two things for Ten Hag, and maybe three. I don't really count the third thing, but his talent identification, not great. He was still operating on an Ajax level talent identification. And I'm not saying go and sign Galacticos, but we got to do better than Tyrell Malacia and Sofian Amrabat. No offense, but we just have to do better. He wanted a little too much control over a lot of things, especially when it comes to signing players, getting players to join your agency and whatnot, not wanting to have Ragnick around. I get that our recruitment at the time was an absolute shambles, but he wanted a little too much control. And when your talent identification is kind of not where it needs to be, having the control over all the decisions just means you're making bad decisions. And then I don't think his personality was, at least on camera and stuff, I don't think that really was vibing with a lot of people. I don't really care about that as much personally, but it is what it is. But I love Ten Hag when he was at Ajax. He was actually my pick to come in. I wanted Ten Hag at United. His Ajax side played excellent football, but it just didn't work out. It is what it is. But Casper says they're doing ridiculous amount of sponsors in a lot of American sports. I mean, that's how you make money, man. People will pay for it. So Rob says Ineos are idiots too. Well, so far they've made a lot of decisions a lot of people don't like. I think that a lot of it is just a situation that they walked into. A lot of it is out of control. A lot of it is the culmination of bad decisions before they got here, from the Woodward era, the Glazers, all those guys. I don't think some of the other decisions that they've made have been great, especially from a PR standpoint. I think that a lot of the optics have been just completely negative. I do think they need to be a little bit more creative, more proactive, and a little bit more self-sacrificing when it comes to like solving some of the issues. I don't think that just sacking a bunch of people is the best way, like the best plan A. But we have to remind ourselves that they inherited a complete shit show. It's not their fault. Like the PSR situation that we find ourselves in, not their fault, but they have to deal with it. Now, that being said, I've said many times, they know what they're getting into. They were able to run the rule over the books. They did a top to bottom audit. They knew what they were getting into. And I've yet to see actual solutions to that other than just firing a bunch of people. So they've got to do better. We'll see what happens. I'm not going to rate any transfer window until the end of it. We'll do a big video at the end. We'll rate the window. We'll give our expectations. Be sure to come back for that. Try to get Dylan on here, maybe some more people, but it is what it is. So, football highlights official Ornstein Bamba. Was there an Ornstein Bamba? Let me go refresh real quick before I fully wrap up, you guys. Make sure you're liking the video, guys. Make sure you're subscribed if you are new. We are on the road to 3K. I did promise if we get the 3K subs before our first match of the season, we will do a giveaway. I will get somebody, a lucky winner, a brand new 25-26 shirt of your choice, home, away, third, and we'll ship it to you. So be sure to do that. So, not really seeing any Bombas, my guy. What do you got for me for Bombas? I'm looking up somebody's claim that there's an Ornstein Bamba. I do not see any Ornstein Bambas personally. So, nothing. I got nothing. Football. Let me know. Let me see. Elvis says we need Shake to come and take over the team. Well, I still wonder if that guy's even real. But again, we've talked about that a couple of times. People get mad at Sir Jim for, like, it's not necessarily his fault that the Glazers are here. Like, you can't blame. I think you can blame a guy for not having money all like right off the bat. I mean, I don't think anybody here would want to fully go in and buy the club with all the debt as well. But remember, the Qatari bid didn't value the club as highly as Sir Jim's total valuation, and they couldn't apparently pass the requirements for financial backing, so they couldn't prove that they had it. So go check that out. Again, make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Keep a lookout in case we end up doing another video later on. I might, if I get time and I'm able to finish up the young striker scouting report batch, we'll do that later on tonight. I did do the one last night of like first team ready strikers, so go check that out, because it's not just Gyökeres and Osimhen out there. There are a lot of strikers. What just happened? Who's giving away memberships here? Rob, Always United, big up, gifted 5 United vs. Everybody memberships. Big up, Rob, absolute legend. You've been going hard in the paint since you got here, man. You're almost getting to that point where you're outdoing Gary. Gary's been an absolute legend and an absolute top lad when he came in. So big up, Rob, for giving away those memberships, you guys. Remember, everything right now, memberships, super chats, anything you buy in the UVE store, including the OG green and gold or the brand new Brian Mbuemo shirt, you can look below the video player if you want to see some samples. Anything you do right now goes towards the fundraiser that my wife is part of right now for the dog shelters and the Humane Society and all that stuff that's here in Michigan right now, in the state of Michigan. I think it's the Michigan Animal Welfare Foundation is what it's called. There is a link in the description, but anything right now until August, that's where it goes towards. So happy to help out. And you guys are the ones who are making it happen with the getting involved. So big up, absolute legend, Rob. Nota, welcome back. We are only getting the Glazers out if there's a geopolitical change like Abramovich or a corruption case. Now, remember, I did do a video a while back on how to maybe force them out. You can go watch that video. It has more to do with how the publicly traded companies and how at the board level, votes of no confidence, self-interest, conflict of interest, all that stuff. It has more to do with that than anything. So you can go check that out. I did do a special, the season 2 finale of What If was what if the Glazers didn't buy Manchester United? How might our history have looked differently? Go check that out as well. Season 2 finale of What If. It has its own playlist, so you can go check that out. Oh, wow. What's going on here? It's all kicking off, man. Dabasi has gifted some memberships as well. Dabasi, big up Dabasi. Gifted 5. You guys are absolute legends today. Big up, you guys. Doing really, really well. And then Nota, I also did another video on what the Glazers, what the owners, what Ineos can learn from Wrexham and how Wrexham have gone about certain things under their new ownership over the last couple of years. So I did do a special video on that as well. It's all down there in the thing. But big up Dabasi, big up Rob Always United for gifting those memberships. We do love it. Dabasi says, I wasn't really gifting, just wanted to see who was lurking. Well, if you are lurking, please make sure you like the video as you lurk on out of here. Please make sure you subscribe if you are new. Every new sub gets us closer to 3K, and if we get the 3K before the season starts, we will do a big giveaway. So that's going to do it for me today, you guys. Thank you for jumping on. Again, I will keep a lookout. Make sure you're hitting that bell to make sure you don't miss anything. There could be another video later or not. We're going to see what my day looks like. But until then, you guys, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for Dabasi for gifting those memberships. But if you're not able to catch the live, leave a comment. You guys know I check the comments. Go check out last night's striker video if you want to learn a little bit more about top strikers. And then keep a lookout for another one where we're going to be looking at young strikers who are really on the verge of kind of breaking through. So until next time, you guys, take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I will talk to you on the next one. Later.